That's really a good question because we always go back to you. Last year we were in all close games, and I don't think it was healthy. So I'd rather have been tested more than this, but you know, good for this team. The 2005 team wasn't tested very much, and they played really well. So what this team seems to be doing is enjoying playing, enjoying each other. They've got outstanding chemistry, and they're having fun during the games. And that's the way Saturday was. The other thing's been impressive about this team is they're playing 60 minutes. Now, the second team offense did not play as well in the late third and fourth quarter Saturday as we wanted them to, but there were a lot of good players on the field, for experienced players for Arkansas, except for the quarterback, and our second and third defense hung in there and kept them out of the end zone. So we're really, really proud. So, but it is a good question, and it's one you concern yourself with. But we told the guys yesterday, things are going to pick up now. And coaches, they're going to be tighter games, and there'll be more pressure, and just how you respond to that pressure is how the type season that we'll have.
Coach, obviously the defense is putting up great numbers. Based on what you've seen from Colorado offensively, talk about what maybe concerns you about that matchup when you're on defense.
When you look at Colorado, they've got the Colt McCoy, coach's son, at quarterback. Cody Hawkins is a guy does what he's supposed to do with the ball. He's averaging over 200 yards a game throwing. He's thrown for 9 touchdowns, and he's a guy that can make plays with his feet, but very competitive. And he'll take Saturday's game that was a tough one against a Florida State defense that's getting back to like the old Florida State defenses were. Florida State's had some struggles on offense, but Wake Forest couldn't move it either. So they're back on defense like the ones I used to see instead of the ones I've seen the last couple of years. And they've got a group of really good running backs. We know if Darrell Scott's not getting the ball every time, Stewart must be really good, because we know how good Darrell is. And then Josh Smith is one of the better receivers in the country, and he's also done a super job with their return game. So they've got a lot of skill that can beat you, and they're playing really hard on defense. And we have noticed, and we'll pull out the last 2 times we were in Boulder, the altitude did not bother us at all. So we do not think that's an issue, and we'll actually take those 2 games as an example for the kids that going up, getting off a plane and playing is not going to be a problem with the altitude. We're not going for vacation.
Coach, is it hard to keep guys from overlooking the team, especially when we see a lot of upsets happening? Because you would think that these teams are obviously looking over.
We went over all the upsets on Sunday for our players in the meeting. And it's phenomenal that you look at Wake Forest beats a Florida State in Tallahassee and loses to Navy. Florida beats Miami at home, beats Tennessee, and loses to Ole Miss. I mean, if you just look at what's happening out there right now, Maryland actually loses to Middle Tennessee State and beats Cal and beats Clemson. So if you can see enough out there right now that you can see what's happening across the country, and you look at what El Paso did Saturday against Central Florida, beating them, I think, 58-9 or 58-13, and then Rice scoring 77 points. We've played some pretty good offensive football teams now. So we thought they were, and they haven't looked that consistent. But when they get hot, like they were against us, they can put up some numbers. But I do think kids right now are having to realize that each week is a new game, period. It's like a new season, and you better throw out last week, you better throw out next week, and you better focus on the one you've got, because you're seeing anything can happen in college football anymore. Oregon State, USC, we've talked about. I mean, anything can happen, and I do think that the kids are starting to realize that.
Coach, it's also your first out-of-Texas road game. How does that change the preparation, if any, and how does that prepare?
None. Our guys are excited because that means it's the first cool road game. They've been in that heat. We told them it'd be cooler out in El Paso, and it was hot. They thought we lied to them going out there. So we checked the weather of the site we're going to play out of state every week at game time, and it looks like for our fans and our players it'll be about 70 degrees when it starts and in the 60s during the game. So the big boys are pumped. They think this might be a game where they can get out of this Austin heat.
Do you guys do any silent counts or anything like that to kind of
Most of ours is silent now. We're doing so much checking from the sideline, and crowd noise doesn't bother us. It was good that we had it out at El Paso, because that was loud and good, and 50-something thousand, a lot like it'll be Saturday night. And that's one of the things we thought that we might have the Colorado game at night, so we felt like that was good to have a night game on the road with a noisy, rowdy bunch, and El Paso was really rowdy. and noisy, and we think that'll help us Saturday night. But our guys like that. Our road record's probably as good or better than our home record, and one of the things they like is the excitement of going into somebody else's place with all the fans against them and getting to play in a loud crowd, and this one's on national TV, so that's fun too.
Coach, you alluded to last season and how you didn't play well at the beginning of the season. What changes in your coaching style between last year not playing so well and coaching really hard to dominating the way you have this year? Does it change at all?
Well, at times last year we played really well. We had a streak of 6 straight wins where we were back in the mix and had a chance at one time to get right in the mix and didn't. We didn't play well at A&M for 3 quarters, and I can't answer that for 2 years. We need to answer it, but we haven't for the 2. And I think sometimes you get so you feel like things are just going to happen without making them happen. And we all went back to work for the Arizona State game, and the way we played in that game is the way that these kids have gone through spring practice and through 2-a-days and now. The addition of Ken Rucker going to player personnel type position in high school relations has really helped us because he's got full time down in the dressing room, around the kids, checking rooms, eating with them. He's around them all the time, along with their other staff. And then the addition of Major and Will has been very well documented. But they're great coaches. They bring a lot of energy. They both bring passion, and it's been fun to have them here and fun for the kids to be around them.
Coach, you mentioned question marks, the fact that a lot of them are still there, but after non-conference, now looking at it, are there some big questions that you've had answered before you get ready for Colorado?
There are. The defense is better at this stage than we were concerned that they might be, very honestly. The secondary seems to be growing up in front of our eyes each week. They're playing better. Sergio's move to, when you go to a nickel or dime package, to rushing the passer has been a success because he's really putting pressure. He and Brian Orakpo are putting a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks, so our pass rush is much better than we thought. And we're tackling better. There were only 6 missed tackles in that ball game, and we're developing a lot of depth on defense. Nobody played more than 41 plays on defense, which is really good for this weekend. So that's like having half a game. So it helps you with this stretch we've got coming down the road. Offensively, Colt's just he's been out of sight. You know, we saw him do this as a freshman, and we didn't think much about it because he had a lot of really good players around him last year. We all kind of got, I don't know, and he's come back and answered the bell. Now he's got to continue to do it. Younger receivers are stepping up now. They're starting to be able to play and make a difference. We have a number of running backs to choose from. As we've said, Fozzie hadn't even played, and Cody Johnson's come out of nowhere here to get in the mix some. And the offensive line's playing like we thought they would. John Gold is a more consistent punter than we knew outside of practice, and Hunter Lawrence has stepped up and done a good job in the field goal game. So a lot of those things were question marks that have been answered. Blaine Irby hurts us, but the guys are still working to overcome that. So that's just part of it. Luke Tieman's on all special teams, and as we were looking at some more that hurts us now. But what you do is, coaches, you just have to change and be flexible enough with your philosophy and your system that if something comes up and it's taken away, you put somebody else in.
Coach, any idea who gave you that first place vote in the coaches poll?
No, probably it wasn't me. I will say that. Probably Colorado. That's what you do the week you play somebody. So I very honestly, I didn't know we had one, but we hadn't deserved that yet. We'll know more about ourselves here the next couple of weeks.
Coach, I know you're not big in the rankings, but do you think the players are a little excited when they see that they're number 5 in the country?
I would think so. I still think that we shouldn't start ratings till probably the middle of October, whatever that is, because we spend so much time throwing people out that get upset. And until you play half your season, you don't know how good you are. And it's fun for everybody to throw them out. It's not fun for those old boys that were rated too high. I've been there. You know you're not very good and you're rated real high and they throw you out. That's bad stuff. Still think they ought to fire the guys who are rating them. If you rate poorly, you get fired.